Have you ever dreamed of someone who felt too real, like you knew them before you were born? What if that person found you in real life and told you you already died together once? Would you believe them or run before the past finds you again? She saw him again in her dreams. Same face, same eyes, same voice, calling her name softly under the golden light of a California sunset. Every night he came closer. Every night she felt his hand almost touch hers before she woke up, gasping, her heart racing, as if she had just lived a moment that was real. Her name was Emily. She lived in a small town near Seattle, worked at a bookstore, the kind that smelled like coffee and rain, where strangers became friends over quiet conversations. One morning, she found a note slipped between the pages of a book she never remembered opening. It said, "I miss you, Emily. I will find you soon." She froze. The handwriting looked familiar, exactly like the man in her dreams. She tried to brush it off, told herself it was a prank, but that night he came again, this time standing under a streetlight, his face half hidden. He whispered the same words, "I will find you." The next day, the rain fell hard, and the world felt heavier. She went to work, trying to forget, but every customer that walked in, she glanced twice, waiting for him. And then he did walk in, tall, wearing a gray coat, drops of rain sliding down his hair, and when he smiled, her heart stopped. He was the man from her dreams. He looked at her like he had known her forever, like he was searching for something lost and just found it. They talked. His name was Nathan. He said he was new in town, looking for a quiet place to stay. He said he felt like he had been here before. Emily felt the same. Everything about him felt familiar. Every word, every look, every small silence between them felt like something already written. As days passed, they grew closer. He started coming by the shop every morning, sometimes bringing coffee, sometimes just standing near the window, watching her shelve books in silence. But something about him was strange. He never talked about his past, he never mentioned family, and sometimes when the light hit his eyes, they looked almost different, like they belonged to someone else. In one evening, he asked her to walk with him by the lake, the same lake she had seen in her dreams, the same golden sky and still water. As they stood there, he said softly, "Do you ever feel like we've done this before?" She nodded, her throat dry. She didn't know how to explain that she had dreamt of this moment every night. He reached for her hand, and when their fingers touched, the world felt unreal. The air shifted, the sound faded, only their breathing remained. And then he whispered something that made her blood turn cold. "Emily, I think I died here once, with you." Her breath caught. The wind moved through the trees, soft and hollow, like a whisper from another time. She stared at him, unable to speak. His eyes looked different now, deeper, almost empty, like a reflection of something far away. He stepped closer, his hands still holding hers. The cold from his skin crept into her veins, slow and strange. She tried to pull back, but he held tighter, not in fear, not in anger, just like someone afraid to let go again. Emily tried to remember every dream, every moment she had seen him, every time she woke up crying without knowing why, and suddenly it all felt like pieces of something unfinished, something that never had a chance to end. He looked at her, the words trembling in his voice. You promised you would wait, Emily. You said you wouldn't forget. Her mind spun, flashes of water, moonlight, laughter, a scream, then silence. A car on a rainy road, headlights breaking through the fog, and then darkness. She stepped back, her heart pounding. The memory hit her like a wave. She saw herself sitting beside him in a car, his hand reaching for hers, the world spinning too fast, the lake rising to meet them. She gasped, her knees weak. Nathan looked at her, tears forming, though his face stayed calm. He whispered, "I tried to come back. I waited for you, but I never left this place." The sound of the lake grew louder, waves crashing harder, though the air was still and quiet. Her chest ached. She could barely breathe. She touched his face, her hand shaking. It felt real. It felt alive. He closed his eyes for a second, then opened them again, his voice soft. "You have to remember, Emily. You have to finish what we started." The air turned colder, her breath visible even under the faint golden sky. The water behind him rippled like something was moving beneath it. She whispered, "What do you mean, finish what we started?" He smiled faintly, the kind of smile that carries both love and sorrow, his hand slowly slipping from hers as the ground beneath them began to hum, like the earth itself was remembering too. Emily looked down. Her reflection on the water started to blur. Two shapes standing side by side, fading into one another, and then a flash of light broke the silence. So bright she closed her eyes. When she opened them again, she was standing alone, the lake calm, the air still, his coat lying on the ground where he stood moments before. Her hands trembled. She picked it up. It smelled like rain and something she couldn't name. Inside the pocket was a photograph, torn at the edges, showing the two of them smiling by the same lake years ago. The sky dimmed, the first drop of rain touched her skin, and in the distance, she heard his voice again, soft, almost carried by the wind. "Emily, come home." Her heart pounded, the sound of her name echoing through the still air. She turned in every direction, but there was no one there. Only the fading mist rising from the lake and the quiet rustle of leaves around her. She held the photograph close, her fingers shaking, the edges damp from the rain. She whispered his name, but the wind swallowed it like it was never meant to be spoken. Something pulled her toward the water, a quiet pull deep inside her chest, a feeling that she had been here before, that she had never really left. She stepped closer, the ground soft beneath her feet, her reflection shifting in the ripples. The photo slipped from her hand, landing on the surface. It floated for a moment, then sank slowly, disappearing into the dark water. And for a second, she saw two shadows beneath the surface, standing together, holding hands. Her breath hitched. She felt that same chill on her skin, the same cold she felt when he touched her. She whispered, "Nathan, are you here?" The air thickened. The world around her went still. Not even the birds moved. She could feel him near, though she couldn't see him. His voice came again, quiet this time, almost inside her head. "Emily, remember the promise?" Her eyes filled with tears. She didn't know why she was crying, only that the ache inside her chest felt older than this life, older than the body she stood in. She closed her eyes, and the memory came back again. The crash, the water, the scream, her hand slipping from his. Her knees gave out. She fell to the ground, the rain soaking through her clothes, the photograph gone, the lake silent. She whispered, "I remember."
and then the air shifted again. Warm this time, soft like sunlight through glass. She opened her eyes and saw him standing across the water, smiling the same smile from her dreams. He reached out his hand, the light behind him growing brighter, the lake reflecting the glow. She stood slowly, her body trembling, but something inside her knew she had to follow. She stepped into the water, one step, then another, the cold rising around her legs, but the light pulling her closer. Each step felt lighter, each breath slower, the sound of her heartbeat fading until all she could hear was his voice calling her name, over and over, softer each time. She reached out her hand, almost touching his again, and just before their fingers met, a sudden sound broke the silence, a car horn, distant but sharp, a flash of headlights cutting through the trees. She turned her head, confused, her feet still in the water, and for a moment she wasn't at the lake anymore. She was standing on a road, wet with rain. The same headlights rushing toward her faster and faster. The sound grew louder, the light blinding her. She raised her hand to block it, but it passed through her like smoke. She gasped, the world spinning around her. The rain falling harder, she could hear her heartbeat echoing somewhere far away, like it didn't belong to her anymore. She looked down and saw herself standing on the road, the same clothes, the same face, but she wasn't moving, just staring blankly into the distance. The car swerved and vanished into the dark, leaving only silence and the smell of wet asphalt. She took a step back, her breath shaking. She turned and the lake was there again, calm and endless, the reflection of the sky rippling in silver lines. Nathan stood on the shore waiting, the same faint smile on his lips. He said softly, "You were never supposed to forget, Emily." She walked toward him slowly, the road behind her fading into mist. She could still hear the faint hum of the city somewhere far away, like a memory slipping out of reach. Her heart felt heavy and light all at once. When she reached him, he took her hand again. This time it felt warm, no cold, no fear, just a strange calm spreading through her, like she had finally stopped running. He looked into her eyes, his voice low. "Do you see it now?" She nodded, her vision blurring. The world around them flickered, the lake, the trees, the sky, all dissolving into a soft golden glow. She saw flashes of their lives together. Laughter, a house near the coast, sunlight on white curtains, the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching. Tears streamed down her face. She whispered, "Why did it end like that?" He smiled and said, "Because we tried to change what was never meant to change." The light around them grew brighter. The sound of the water vanished, replaced by a deep quiet that felt like peace. But just as she began to breathe it in, a shadow moved through the glow, dark and sharp like smoke cutting through fire. Nathan looked past her, his face tightening, his hand gripping her stronger. He whispered, "Not yet. They're still watching." She turned but saw nothing, only the shimmer of light bending in strange ways, shapes moving like figures behind glass. Her chest tightened. She tried to speak, but no words came, only a pulse, a low hum that grew louder. He pulled her closer, his voice shaking. "Listen to me. If you go back, you must not look for me again. Not this way." The hum grew louder, the light pulsing around them. She felt herself being pulled backward, her body weightless, her fingers slipping from his grip. He looked at her one last time, his lips forming words she couldn't hear. And then everything went white.
The white faded slowly, turning into the pale gray of early morning. She opened her eyes. The air smelled like coffee and rain. The soft chime of a bell echoed somewhere nearby. She blinked and found herself standing in the bookstore again. The shelves were full, the same quiet hum of the heater, the same sound of pages turning. She looked down, her hands trembling. A small bruise on her wrist, faint, like a mark left by someone holding her too tight. She walked to the counter, the world feeling both familiar and strange. Her reflection in the glass looked tired, older, maybe different. A customer walked in, smiling. "Good morning, miss. You open early today." She nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "Yeah, early." As the man walked away, she noticed something on the counter. A book she didn't remember leaving there, open halfway through, its pages, a note folded neatly inside. She hesitated before picking it up, her pulse quick and uneven. The handwriting was the same soft, curved letters she knew too well. It said, "Thank you for remembering." Her knees weakened. She gripped the counter. The air around her seemed to thicken. For a moment, she thought she saw him standing near the window, watching her. But when she blinked, he was gone. Only sunlight spilling across the floor. The doorbell rang again. A delivery man stepped in, holding a small brown package with her name written on it. She signed for it, her hands shaking, tore the paper slowly. Inside was an old photograph, two people standing by a lake, smiling. The same lake, the same faces. She touched the picture gently, her fingers tracing the outline of his face, the same faint glow in the corner of the photo, like the moment had captured light that shouldn't exist. The clock ticked softly behind her, each second stretching longer. She turned the photo over and saw a date written faintly, almost erased, the same day she woke up from the crash. Her throat tightened. She whispered his name under her breath, but this time it didn't echo. It just settled into the quiet like it belonged there. She closed her eyes, and for a second she felt his presence beside her. The warmth, the calm, the sound of the lake somewhere far away, calling her back softly, like a song half remembered. And then the light flickered. The door creaked open though no one walked in. A breeze moved through the room, turning the pages of the open book until it stopped on a single line. Every love story finds its way home. The wind grew still, the bookstore silent. The golden light of evening spilling through the windows, wrapping everything in a soft glow. She stood there, holding the photograph close, her heart steady for the first time in a long while. She walked to the window. The rain had stopped. Outside the street glistened, the world quiet, as if it too was listening. She looked toward the horizon, the sky painted with soft orange and silver, and for a moment she thought she saw him walking along the lake, his figure fading gently into the light. She smiled, not with sorrow, but with peace. She whispered, "Thank you," and the words seemed to float through the air, carried away like a promise kept. She placed the photograph on the counter beside the open book. The pages fluttered once, then settled. The line on the page glowing faintly, as if the story itself was breathing with her. She turned off the lights, locked the door, and stepped outside. The cool air brushing against her face, the scent of pine and wet earth filling her lungs. She took a deep breath, the sound of the lake far away, like a heartbeat, steady and calm. As she walked down the street, the world felt lighter, every step softer, every sound sharper, a sense of something whole again, complete. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. The breeze followed her, carrying the faintest echo of his voice one last time, soft and clear. "Emily, you found me." And she smiled under the fading sky, letting the evening light guide her home.